Hello, this is William from Visual Components. In this video about robot programming, I'm going to show you how to synchronize robots during a simulation. Now, synchronization can be very helpful if you want the robots to wait for one another, move together, and avoid collision during a simulation. So the setup is very easy. Right now I already have a layout built and open in the 3D world, and I'll quickly go over it. So parts move along this conveyor line over here, and once the part reaches the sensor, robot 1 here will pick the part and then place the part over here at this process station. Once the process station runs its process, robot 2 will then pick the part here and then place it over here at this conveyor here. So it sounds simple enough. Let's run the simulation, see how it looks. So parts are moving. Robot 1 picks and places the part. Robot 2 waits, and whoa, wow, it seems that when robot 1, let me slow this down, when robot 1 goes to place the part, robot 2 is actually already picking the part, so the robots are out of sync. So what we can do is we can set up a program sync action in both robots to basically synchronize when robot 2 is supposed to pick and when robot 1 is supposed to place. So let's reset the simulation. So let's go to robot 1's program here. You can see I have it selected here in the Teach tab. And we know that when the robot goes to place, we need to stop it. It needs to know when robot 2 is not moving. So I'll go and create a program sync statement here. So click this icon, and here are the statement's properties. So sync components, that's the components you want to sync up with the robot. So I'll click this button here, and we want to synchronize the robot with robot 2. So I'll click add here, there's robot 2. And now when the components are synced, they need to send a message to one another, and that message has to be unique. So in this case, I'll say not moving. And what I can do here with this wait sync property is that the robot is not completed this statement until it actually receives this message from all of the sync components. So it's going to keep on waiting and waiting and waiting until the message is received, and then it can start executing the next preceding task. So if I close this out, let's move the program sync statement to the start of the place subroutine. So now if I reset the simulation and run it again, let's see, where are the parts? Let's speed it up just a bit. So now the robot picks the part, but it's still waiting to receive that sync message from robot 2. So let's set that up now. So in robot 2, I'll select its program here. You can also select a program from this drop-down menu here in the robot property. And at the start of the robot's program, it's not really moving, so we can add the program sync statement here. So let's go ahead and click this icon here for the program sync. And robot 2 needs to be synced up with robot 1. So I'll click the sync components button. And we need to sync it with robot 1. And remember, they have to send the message that's unique to both of them, so not moving. And what I can do here is clear the wait sync checkbox or disable it. What this means is that the robot will just execute the task and then go on to the next preceding task. So it won't wait to receive the message from the other sync components it's with. So if I clear this out, and close this, and move it to the start of the simulation, and run the simulation, you can see that the robot's already executed its sync task, and now robot 1 in the layout is picking and placing parts, and robot 2 is picking and placing parts, and they're not running into one another. So that's just a quick and easy example of how you can sync up the robots, just using a program sync task. So let's go and reset the simulation. And one thing to mention is that these robots are actually executing their program in a loop. So if I go to the Program tab, Executor subtab here, you can see I already enabled this looping property here, so I selected the checkbox here. So the robots will just keep on looping their program during the simulation. Now, one last example I want to show you is how you can sync and move the robots together. So that setup is very easy as well. Go back to the Teach tab. Now, after robot 2 places or executes its place routine, I then want it to sync up with robot 1 before it executes the home subroutine here, which is just moving the robot back to its home position. So I'll go to the main routine here. You can see this is where the home subroutine is called. So before that, I'm going to add a program sync statement. Let's actually move it before it. And I'll double click the program sync to access its properties. So now I'm going to sync up robot 2 with robot 1. Add that there. The sync message has to be unique, so I'll say ready, move. And I'm also going to leave the wait sync property turned on. This will allow the robot to keep on waiting and waiting and waiting until it receives the right message from the sync components. So I'll close this out. And now I need to set up the program sync statement in Robot 1. So I'll go and select its program from here. And after Robot 1 places, I'm now going to add a sync statement here. Well, actually, we can just do the same thing we did to Robot 2. We can have the home subroutine called here, so let's add the program sync statement. Sync it up to Robot 2. Use the right sync message, so it's ready, move. Leave the wait sync property on. Let's move this before the home routine. And now if I run the simulation, Robot 1 strikes and places. And now it's just waiting to sync up with Robot 2. Robot 2 picks and places. And now the robots move and sync with one another. But they still kind of collide, so let's reset this. And for Robot 1, after it does the pick or the place routine, let's go and add another position. So we'll just move it out of the way just a bit over here. Make that a point-to-point motion statement. Move it to the end of the place subroutine. So now if we run the simulation again, we should see the final result. Hopefully it looks good. All right. Robot picks and places, waits, Robot 2 picks and places, and then they move together. Alright, this concludes the video. If you have any more questions, please feel free to visit our community at community.visualcomponents.net, and that will also be the place on the forum where this layout is available and you can play around with it if you want. So as always, have a great day.